Can you hear the music? Really? That is so annoying that you can't hear the music live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome back. Oh, I got to add you to the screen. What am I doing, Casey? I've got my guest, Casey Huff, screen right now.
There we are.
Boom.
What's up? What's up?
There we are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back at Social Authority, where I go live with all the coolest people on the planet so that you can meet them for free and do more deals in your business. So you're welcome, number one. And Casey Huff, very good friend of mine, and just an unbelievable dude in the real estate space that you need to know. So let's break it down. So you moved into this new office. Casey's got a new office and all of that, right? So you were over there by the airport, and now you're where?
We're probably about 10 miles west, so I call it the armpit of DFW. It's Forest Hill, so it's where like 820, 20, and 287 all merge. So if you're familiar with Tarrant County, everybody knows the bottleneck that I'm talking about. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Tarrant County, you got to jiggle the headset there for a minute and make it crack back in. Sometimes that headset gives you trouble. Give it a jiggler on the plug. There you go.
Maybe I was too tight.
Little tight. It gets a little tight sometimes out there, folks. But anyway, yeah, awesome, dude. So real estate, man. I mean, a lot of people crushing it in real estate, but real estate's difficult. I think there's just a consistency factor. I was with a bunch of guys last night. Eddie Speed last night. I had never met Eddie Speed until last night. He's been doing notes for 45 years. I'm 42. We kind of chuckled about that. And I told him this, and I'm glad this came up. People who are like younger generation employees, or you're in high school, you're working a job in college or whatever, I think they're starting to see earlier in life that if I really want financial freedom, I have to learn how to sell myself. I have to learn some skills. And you see a guy like that, and they're giving information away online, you're going to go to that person. And the access that younger people have now to people with experience, it's like a finger click away. And it's pretty incredible because it wasn't that way back in the day. And so we always want to make sure we're showing people how they can do more deals. So what kind of deals are you targeting here in April, going into what is always considered the hot season of really every business model? Summer, things heat up.
I mean, nothing's really changed for us. I think it's getting easier, if anything, just because we've been consistent and doing the same thing, for a little over a year now with our marketing. I think last month we ended with the exact same amount of deals as February, like right around that 22, 23 mark that, we're purchasing. So, I mean, it's a good pace right now that we have. We're not really, hammering down. We're getting our processes in. And, I was just talking to my partner this morning. It's like, we're not even hitting the gas yet. And, we're doing 22, 23 deals. So, there's a few more roles that we need to fill within the company. And then, I see by summer, we're probably pushing 30, 35 deals a month just here in DFW alone.
That's just incredible. And I mean, agencies, the model I'm in, you're always going for that, 50 to 100K a month. You want to build that $1 million business. And in real estate, it's a similar game. I mean, if you're doing 20 or 30 deals a month, 20 or 30 clients that are awesome clients, or what, and so many different business models, it doesn't have to be a gazillion transactions. It's just got to be that month over month with great people in place. And I've noticed, especially in real estate, it's like you guys use a lot of the title companies over and over and over again, a lot of the lenders over and over and over again. There is a community in real estate that's just not like any other community I've ever been a part of in business. And I think that's part of the reason is because you have to use other people to get deals. And you guys have found a way to isolate yourselves, which really strengthens your core brand because you can kind of do a lot of the stuff on your own.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with new investors is they want to penny pinch every service, the title company, the lender, their contractors and stuff like that, versus just paying what they want create a relationship, and then later on they'll give you that volume discount. And so, if you're trying to save $1,000 on a deal from finding a lender that's not going to charge you X amount of interest, like the deal's not a deal. So if $1,000 is going to make or break it, then you suck at finding deals. So get better and don't, cut the people's hands off that you absolutely need to even be able to do the deal.
Right.
So,
right. And dude, real estate in any business, really, it's so cutthroat out there. And if you're too cutthroat, I mean, you got to protect the fort, but like you're too cutthroat, it's like people won't even want to work with you anymore because they're like, dude, I just can't. Maybe you're really good at what you do, but if you're too far over the line, it's like Gary Vaynerchuk says, like, it might be your most talented, most brilliant employee, but if they're a cancer to the rest of the team or they're a cancer partnership, you can't work with them anymore because it's just going to eat everything around you.
Mm-hmm. And most people are afraid to pull that trigger and get rid of that person because they're only worried about the dollars and not the culture.
Yep. Yeah, and it can be difficult. Yeah, it's totally true. So let's break down some deals. So you don't have to give me like specific addresses of anything you're working on, but if we were to like pull up a deal breakdown of something that you're looking at right now, I know it helps my brain, like at acquisition events, if it's a HVAC company and it's got this much revenue and then this much cost for this, and this. Minus this, here's the net profit, the cash flow. Can we break down a couple of those for people that might not understand how to really analyze these deals?
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, the formula is the same. Really, the only variables are the location, your days on market, how long does it take a particular item to sell, whether it's land, manufactured home on land, an $800,000 house, a $400,000 house. So all of those are different variables. And then the location. Are you in the main populated metroplex or are you outskirts? And so a lot of that has to play in it. And so dependent on the speed of how fast we're going to be able to sell that property, the faster we're able to sell it, the higher we're willing to go to pay for it. And so kind of our rule of thumb when we originally underwrite a deal is we like to make dollar for dollar what our rehab budget's going to be. So if it's a $40,000 rehab, that's how much that we want to try to profit is $40,000. Now, sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. We want to keep our relationship with a certain wholesaler, so we'll kind of skew that a little bit, but that's pretty much how we underwrite a deal. It's not necessarily, we want to make 100,000 every single deal. That would be awesome, but we probably wouldn't do any deals if we did that.
Well, and so, I mean, the other thing is you've got to figure out what's the average deal size, right? And this is something you talk about a lot, and I think it's smart. What's your average deal size, and how can you try and increase that average over time? And the only way you can do that is by doing deals and analyzing deals. And so if you're someone that has no deals, your best bet is matching up leads or whatever with someone who can analyze and move those over the line. Because if you get stuck doing no deals for 10 months or whatever, and when you could have done one in 2, you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt years down the line because your ability to collapse time in 2025 is your best resource, because there's no point in struggling to close like a wholesale deal or this or that or the other thing when people have been teaching this stuff heavily since 2020 for free on YouTube, or there's so many investors that you can ask on Facebook about how you can help serve their companies. If I'm looking at real estate, and again, I have from the outside looking in for many years now as an MC and all these things, I'm looking at how do I, if I'm inexperienced, which I am, and I don't want to learn the language because I don't, which is why I joke about stuff like ARVs and sub 2s and plex 3s, triple plex, triplexes is the word.
Yeah.
You guys got all these funny terms, and no one outside of real estate knows what the hell you guys are talking about. But for some reason, I kind of do. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that if they understood the language of the business, They'd get so interested in it that they could maybe make an extra couple $100,000 a year off just a few deals if the average deal size is high enough. And so I think people in their head think if it's not $1 million business or a gazillion dollar business, then it's not successful. And it's like, that's really not true. If you just do the right deals with the right people, you can do really well. And it doesn't have to be an astronomical transaction volume, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you look at this business as helping people that are in financial situations and you have the ability to get them out of that and solve their problem, then the money will follow. So if you put the people first and then the profit second, everything else will take care of itself. Earlier you were talking about deal flow and marketing and stuff like that. And, I'm a stickler for tracking my KPIs. And it's funny right now, everybody's finding the hack to go around all of these limitations on SMS and, being able to use AI to respond.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
the internet's bad.
I even with the AI responses, I have to be careful with that because we want to use AI on social media platforms. But what we don't want is to turn off the potential investor or business owner or whatever. I think it's great for I'm going to give you a free PDF file and stuff, or I'm going to book an appointment, but you got to be really careful. And I said this last night on the stage at Texas Tuesday for the 13 people that I spoke for.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It was very profound.
It was like being in a bar in Colorado,
right,
performing all over again.
It was like fucking open mic comedy night. But it's real estate. It's actually pretty awesome. I wouldn't do it if it sucked. But dude, no one's going to send a $450,000 wire for a house to a robot that they haven't talked to or shaken hands with. There's no way. Now, you might buy a $37 product from some kind of AI thing, whatever. I do it. I test some of these people. I'll buy your little $17 thing and try and get something out of it, whatever, to see how it kind of works. You can't do that with these big transactions, dude. It's not going to work. Well, it's too much money.
If you're a true business and you have multiple streams of marketing to acquire leads and you actually break down your profit per channel, for me, SMS was my worst because those sellers that respond to my SMS are going to respond to every single person's SMS out there. And so it's the lowest hanging fruit of getting somebody to respond. It's a text, they don't care. And so that's why we do not text hardly anymore other than just our one-off niche type sellers that we're trying to get to. We're not text blasting 250 people a day, 1,000 people a day, because even when we were doing it heavily, those were the worst deals, and those are typically the gurus that are trying to push volume, right? We did 45 contracts this month, but they probably didn't even make 90 grand, who cares how many contracts you do? It's about how much money you make.
Right.
And so, yeah, I could sit here and send 1 million text messages a month.
You could run up your volume if you wanted to, but that doesn't mean that you're going to make more money. You might actually lose more money.
What's your contract to close, right? We don't talk about that in the industry because, that's really lifting up the skirt and will expose everybody out there that is pushing, I got a contract. Yeah, but bro, you don't close. You drop them all.
Dude, I love that you said that because this is a thing in the media agency or lead generation is another word for it, space that I'm kind of in because, we want people to be present. And what our system does is it actually combats against people who push lead generation on social media or online. There's a difference between boosting ads and putting out organic content that's going to actually get people to trust you 2 years from now. You talk about Dan Martell, I love Dan. I've met Dan. I've introduced Dan on stage. I've hung out with his wife while he was speaking on stage. And dude, he wasn't that big of a deal 5 years ago when I first came into the game, and it was Cardone, Vaynerchuk. But listen, he's the next generation of those guys. That's my personal opinion. He's the next generation of following their lead, personal branding and this and that. And over the course of taking that success structure for them and implementing it into himself as accountability. He's in better shape and all this and that. There's another 5-year window that's going to happen, and there's going to be more Dan Martells in 5 years and more whoever's in 5 years. And a lot of them are going to come from real estate, because you have to have a real business to have a real personal brand that people trust. There's a lot of people with really big personal brands, but they've turned into comedy skits. Like they're turning into like comedy skits online and songs and funny stuff. I'm staying away from it. I used to sing about all of that
Arizona
stuff.
boys, I think, got served, last week. That was all over the Fay City book, class action lawsuit. Yep.
Oh, yeah. They're all over the place, dude. I mean, hey, and there's pages where they're just calling everything out. And, we used to kind of do that back in the day in like 2018, 2019. And I'm glad I got away from that, because here's the problem with that is if you're just shitting on everybody, then people are going to be weary about working with you, because they're going to think, well, if something goes wrong,
oh yeah,
this guy's going to shit on me.
Rooftop.
And dude, I got a really big mouth, and I've had a lot of problems or toe-to-toe showdowns with people, or gigs I got or gigs I didn't get. And recently, over the past 15 months, and it's actually a friend of mine, Alex Ottewell is a friend of mine and client of the agency and all of this. We do stuff for his oil company and whatnot. And he was the one like 15 months ago or so. He's like, dude, going into this next phase of your life, you're going to have to understand that you're not the underdog anymore. And that people expect you to now be as good as you've been for the last few years, over and over and over and over again forever. So like, this is now what you thought was like peak performance for you is now actually the baseline for like where you're going to go now. And so, back in the day when you were broke and people were ripping you off and you couldn't get ahead and this and that and the other, that mentality's gone. And when you don't get X, Y, or Z, you just can't get pissy about it, because now you're in a league where not getting the deal and being cool about it is actually going to benefit you just as much as if you crush the gig.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, trust me, dude. He's like, you're a freaking hothead from the street corner that had people not pay you $40 back in the day, and you needed it to eat. We all get it. But a good business person or relationship builder is able to separate that old from the new. And so people need to be able to analyze who they really are and talk about where they're really at. And I think that's the hardest part about people on social media is everyone wants to look successful. Dude, don't worry about looking successful. Worry about getting the right information from the people that are successful.
Yeah.
That's what I always focused on. I don't need to be Grant or be Dan or be any of these people. I just want to be around them so I can absorb their energy and instill what I need to have come out of myself that's positive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%.
And then the people that aren't doing deals, that are pissed off and they're shitting on everybody, no one's going to work with them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're just not going to make it. That tactic, you got to be careful with that one. I mean, you just I think that is being handled very efficiently by certain Instagram pages. But
they
it used to be
us.
It used to be us just rapping about people and stuff, dude. I was back in the day. I was savage. Me and Corey Thompson. You know who he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the motherfucker of mobile homes. Hey, God love him. He's cool. But hey, I mean, it's always best to just have fun with people and let them be the great at what their corridor is. And then when you come across whenever I come across somebody and we're talking about notes or whatever, well, now I know who to reference.
Yeah.
I don't need to ever learn anything about notes, because now I know the guy that's been doing it for 45 years that's got all the RJ Bates title belts in that category. I didn't know Eddie Speed was like the title belt wearing guy. Like, he's got championship belts. I was like, wow, those guys. Huh. So I just love to be the person that can pass the ball around the court. And most people just struggle with being like, yeah, I don't know anything about that, but this guy, boy, he's the best. That's always going to come back to win. Always.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
the key.
And most people don't want to be the connector. They want to be the spotlight. And so it's just, I think knowing where you best fit in with everybody that's in your circle and being okay with that, whether you're the leader or the one behind the seat. We talk about that. we were actually talking about that yesterday. It's like most people probably don't know that, I'm behind the scenes running a lot of the day-to-day operations for the company, right? So they probably think I'm just over here doing marketing, but
No, dude, I do the same thing. I mean, you see us in text boxes whenever we need something. I mean, we're constantly logging in and out. I have to do all of that. I don't have somebody sitting around punching in all those keys.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just doing what it takes to just keep progress going, no matter what that seed is. So
Well, and the other thing, and this is one that always was kind of frustrating because it's hard to hear people that are in a really great position in their business talk about you advancing because it feels like they're dumping on you. They're not, but it can feel like they are. So I met this dude. This dude's really good too. You probably heard of his name's Kent Clothier, right? So Kent Clothier, he's really good at real estate, and he does run like the boardroom, which is like a really elite mastermind. All these really good guys that actually do deals in it. So it's the consistency of that argument that it's legit is so obvious because everyone makes money with each other doing deals. So it's like, wow. So they are actually out there, folks. And the interesting thing, he was like, dude, if you're in your business right now, you have a job. You created a job for yourself. And I was always like, oh man, that stings, Kent. Gosh, it hurts. But dude, also like, dude, good for you for building something. Like, it depends on how you take that comment. Sometimes we internalize it and we're like, well, I'm not doing enough, or I'm doing too much, or this is that. What am I doing it all wrong? Certain people are just in different positions than other people. The guy's in a completely different chapter of his story than I am in business. I didn't know anything about business till I met people like him. Of course I'm in my business. Of course I'm in my business. But at least I have one. Mm-hmm. At least we're doing something. We're operating something. And that's the only way American entrepreneurship and the American dream stays alive. So realistically, we are the people providing that American dream, not just for ourselves, but how many families are we feeding? A lot. A lot of people that rely on operators.
So many entrepreneurs get lost in that because they see the greats that have been doing it day in, day out for 15, 20 years. And yeah, they have the ability to slack off because they've built the team and the systems to handle the day in, day out to where, I'm going to the office, I'm coming to the office now 5 days a week from, 9 to 4, 9 to 5. It's getting easier. I've been doing it for one whole quarter now since we moved to the office, and our mid-level management's pretty much stepping up to the day-to-day now. So really, I'm just needed for one or two inputs here or there. So right. I mean, you do that for another couple of years and you keep slowly growing. I mean, I'm gonna be there. So,
well, and I mean, you are in your brain. I think this is something I learned from a lot of guys too. Too many to name. They all have this ability to kind of see the finish line, see themselves crossing the finish line. What do I look like? How tired am I? What did I need to do in the last miles to really grit it out? They can almost envision the entire marathon to that goal of what they think is a deadline or a milestone. And they're able to walk backwards from the finish line all the way to how they need to start and finish. And those are the people that get it done because now they've got a blueprint that they can take action on. And then they go out and they do it every day. Because again, a whiteboard full of brilliant stuff is still just a whiteboard full of brilliant stuff. You actually have to do it to be brilliant.
Yep. So many people get caught up in the thoughts and the dreams that, their head is always in the clouds. I always say you're going to walk into oncoming traffic and get hit because you still got to get up and do the day-to-day repetitions to accomplish those goals that you're trying to set. And I think a lot of people get lost in that too. They're afraid to do the work.
Well, yeah. And I think that they tell themselves, I don't know what to do. I just don't know. It's just been so hard. I'm too busy, dude. I do that. We all have that voice, but it's talking you out of doing what you need to do. There's time to get it done. You just need to maximize the time. And I'm not perfect either.
It's like going on the stair climber with, how I said the other day, raw dog in the stair climber with no technology, nothing. Like you're gonna have a mental battle to get off that thing and be like, 5 minutes is okay, but no, I gotta do a minimum of 20. So, I
Dude,
mean,
the old Stairmaster. It's been
yeah,
so nice outside certain days. I'm like, I can't talk myself into being at the gym, but I'm actually going after we're done with this call. I'm gonna go hit it. I got to fly out to Fresno tomorrow for these guys. And the cool thing about a lot of these events I'm at, now that because I announced the sponsors and everything, dude. So I look at all the title companies and this and that and the other companies, and there's nothing like what you're bringing to the market.
nope.
Just saying. Like, I know because I make the announcement. I've made the announcements at these things for years, and there's no like deal flow software organization system that everybody uses. I've always wondered that, like, there's this and there's that for leads, right? CRM for lead, like Podio or whatever it's called. And
Yeah.
the Salesforce or whatever people use. And then there's like for all the HVAC companies, there's like Service Titan and all these little things. But like what you're making for real estate is one of those things that everyone in an industry is going to use. It's just that it's not out yet.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain. You, am I making sense? Like
Yeah.
when ClickFunnels came out, you could easily build landing pages because you just go to the funnel and you click on the thing and you buy whatever it is. So everyone figured out, oh, well, a ClickFunnel isn't a website, it's a landing page. And that became like a term in our industry. Dude, you got to have we'll build your funnels and we'll build your blah, 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 blah. It became like a standard. And I just, with how unorganized the real estate transaction process is, even for me as a user, as a person who's bought 2 homes now, I don't ever want to buy another home again. You've been to my house. There's a reason. There's absolutely no need to ever buy another house for Pat Hilton ever again on purpose, because that process is so, oh my gosh, it drains your soul, dude, especially when you're moving your family and you're looking at schools. Like, you think about the consumer on the other end, how much they're dealing with. And you get this email from this person and that thread, and I didn't respond to this, and I sent this file to that person on accident, and it was supposed to go to this person. Again, just as a user, I'm like, dude, this is a shit show.
Yeah.
But if you had me
the
log into
transaction
a
process.
portal as a user, if I logged into a portal and it was all there, oh,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
guys,
it's
I'm
gonna-
just saying, and if you're a company and you can provide something like this for your customer, they're going to be like, wow, this was so easy. All my files were in one place. It's like, yep, that's what we do for you. Thanks for coming through. Agents and stuff like that. I'm telling you, as a consumer, it's a nightmare. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's technically what the title company is for. The issue is, on the consumer end, you have so many plates spinning while you're buying the house. You have your lender, the title company, the agents, your agent, the seller's agent, the inspector, the appraiser. You have all of these people coming at you, wanting money, and you got to make decisions and stuff like that. So, a good real estate agent will kind of take all of that burden off your back, and kind of they control the transactions. So the consumer shouldn't feel that pain.
Well, yeah, and Tim Allreed's my real estate agent, and he does do a great job, but I don't even know if it was necessary. It's just the fact that all these people are emailing me directly for all these different things. And it all happens so fast. And since I'm someone who likes to handle things immediately, like, I want to just do it and get it done. So maybe it's me as a user too.
Yeah. So, I mean, definitely for the investment.
But again,
world,
you can't check boxes in that transaction process. There's no bullet points of all these things we need to do. And as a user, if you go through, now I know inspection and appraisal. And what's with these inspectors that act like this little thing? I almost had a heart attack over this, like, one little tiny dent on a shingle. I thought the whole roof was going to fall apart.
Yeah, it's their job to,
find those things.
Yeah, because I guess if they miss it, it goes against their insurance and, all that crap. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
What
whole
what dr-
process is difficult.
yeah. What drives me nuts is the appraiser that sets the value for the bank and everything like that, where they want to become an inspector. It's like, bro, why did we have an inspector if you're over here doing inspector stuff? So just shut up and give me a number and like leave. So
Yeah, that
that's
part's
why I
difficult.
yeah, that's why I can't do the entire process in this investment world. So by time we market to the deal, negotiate the deal, go through the headache of locking, getting through title work, the lending, the rehab. By time I list it, like I don't have the patience to deal with other agents and lenders and all of that stuff. So I happily give that piece of the business to my partner.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
hey, I mean, it's Nathan, right? I think I follow. We're friends
mhm.
on Facebook now.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he's consistent with his way of posting, his more pictures and stuff like that, and he's very good at showcasing the business.
Yep.
I've noticed that he's very good at that, which is smart. I mean, it's social media. The point's to be social. That's the first word of the whole thing. So, yeah, he's great at that. I think it's great. It's positive too. And again, the more you see that, the more you feel it, the more you like it, the more it shows up to everybody. And it's this little process that just starts to grow and grow and grow and grow. And the same thing with this joint. We started kind of testing out the studio and stuff. Well, now, I mean, I can put a couple pieces together and have a stage downstairs, and we can just do our events on a stage now
Yeah.
downstairs. It's going to be awesome. And then all the people that should be, in my opinion, should be speaking on stages that aren't yet. Well, now they're going to be able to. I'll just build my own stage. My buddy Kyle, I've been doing his events. He's a business acquisitions guy for a couple of years, and he doesn't speak at anyone's events, but he just put on his own events. He sent
Yeah.
me this song, this Russ song. I'm going to do it myself. It's fire. Bump it in your Porsche. Next time you're in the Porsche, Do It Myself by Russ, and you're going to feel like a straight up G unit driving in the Porsche.
It's kind of hard to listen to music and drive the Porsche. It's, one or the other.
Oh, well, yeah, because yours is engine powered. Mine's
Yeah.
quiet. Mine's silent. It's
Yours
like
is
you're in the
hybrid.
Millennium
I'm sitting
Falcon.
here. You had me there because I'm like, they're all engine powered, Pat.
Yours is not electric powered like old Patty Boy. I had to have it
Yeah.
over 6,000 pounds
Yeah.
to justify my indulgence.
That's the truck and the SUV and, the other toys.
Yeah, I
So,
was like, well, you just we only need one car, Pat. So just get the one and go from there. You can only drive one car. Yeah, it worked out well. But dude, that's awesome. So you're doing the beta test in the group on the software. Explain one more time for people that don't know what the software does, and you've got another developer in house. This thing's coming.
yeah, so actually have 2 interviews this week to hire another developer to bring them on in-house. They're actually going to be sitting in the room right next to me so
Nice.
I can, watch their fingers
That's
clicky
right.
clack.
Welcome
So
to the revolution, boys and girls.
Yeah, so essentially, phase 1 of the software is going to have a mobile app, so your acquisitionist person can go to the property and take photos, and they'll automatically upload into the web app of the software. And then what I'm telling everyone, phase 1 is essentially lead to deed. So once somebody raises their hand and they're interested in selling the property, that's when it comes into our system. And we have a unique spin that no other CRM has out there that we've applied because it was one of the bottlenecks of my business and I wanted it. And then you're going to have the ability to e-contract and everything right there on the spot. So no more hopping over into DocuSign, PandaDoc, anything like that. So you can e-contract right there. Once the contract's executed, you push it over to title work. Now you're going to be able to text and email the consumer, the title company, anything like that within the same platform. And then you're going to have a very cool feature to know which documents have been turned in and have not been turned in. And then once it gets to the lending part, or for you wholesalers, the assignment part, you're going to be able to run an actual P&L on the company. So receipts, closing costs, your acquisition fee, your, if you're going to have, what is it? Commissions paid out to people, you can put all that in there. And then just at the very top of the property, you're going to be able to see, this is how much I made, I lost. So there's no more spreadsheets and shit. I like that. Spreadsheets and shit.
Dude,
so,
totally.
So that's pretty much phase one that we're rolling out. And then the second phase is the actual asset management of it, of the rehab, the contractors, invoicing and stuff like that. So
nice.
So, yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. I mean, the document part, just to me as a consumer, I think is important. Every single real estate agent needs to be using that.
I mean,
every single real estate agent.
Yeah. I mean, they all have DocuSign. The problem is like, I think right now we have like 6 or 7 softwares that we use on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I mean, we could use Zapier to connect them all and talk and stuff like that. But I mean, by the time you look at the actual cost that it takes per user, the zaps, making sure all that automation and crap, it works like it's supposed to, just for one monthly fee, everybody's in here and, we just go to town. Like it's going to be amazing. Productivity is going to go through the roof. And interviewing with the developers, the thing I told them was like, look, even if we go to market and the software flops in the market, it's going to make our operation so much more efficient.
You're going to make the money anyway.
Correct. So I really don't care if we go to market and it tanks.
Which it won't anyway.
No, I know it won't.
Because you have that mentality. It's the same mentality I have with the music. I haven't even really talked about, we got 10 tunes coming out. They sound totally badass, but like, I don't know what people like or listen to anymore. I know that the songs are super catchy and that now I'm 42 and I know how scientific people are about writing pop hits. And I made them as poppy and as hit potential as I possibly could with my style of songwriting. But that doesn't mean people, you know what I mean? It's the same thing. I think they sound like hits to me. What do I know?
Yeah.
But it's made my skills as a producer, just same thing with the podcasting. Like you saw me build this whole podcast studio from the ground up. It didn't even have anything on the walls. We still had those shitty windows that we had to like cover up with the whole wall, remember? And like this place looks dope now. Dude, it's always going to be a work in progress. Phase 1 of you releasing it, there's going to be 7 out of 10 people that kill it. And then that's just going to increase from there. There's going to be people that like it. And then those people are going to bring 30 more people. Because, dude, in real estate, when something works and people are making money with it, immediately everybody starts talking and using it. And it's just like, it happens fast. There's not that many tools.
Gem that it's got to come out while it's in beta. But I found a segment of the real estate market that I can really, really cater to and that'll really benefit from. And it's the creative title side of the industry. And so I really feel, there's really nothing out there to help us whenever we're, hunting heirs and stuff like that. And so we already have the framework. We just got to change up a little bit of the UI. But, we're still going to launch and keep everything going. But that's what's going to be spinning and going on in the background. So once we actually come live and we're ready to start signing up users in the masses, like that feature is going to be there to where it's going to be nice. So.
Dude, I'm pumped. I mean, again, just organizing the documents in one place. I still don't have the documents in one place for my transaction.
Yeah,
they're there in email. I mean, I can find them.
They're in a folder in the closet somewhere.
But you know what I mean? It's just like, man, having that all digitally sourced. When we recently switched, we've got a woman who's been a client of ours for a few years. Her name's Carlotta Thompson, and she is a tax strategist, and she has a whole suite of people you can use for like bookkeeping and filing. And so we started to integrate, and we have their whole team integrated finally now. We're about to file whatever on the 15th, right? And dude, just having everything organized in one place. And then they've educated me on what all these things mean and how it relates to the deduction process, to the, the studio space and all of this. And I'm like, gosh, man, I didn't know anything, know, and it's good because then I can just use the space and work and make money. I pay these people, and then it's like we file, and it's going to be so easy in 2026. But like all the work getting to this was like, oh my gosh, my brain's going to explode. But that's how you get better.
Yep. Yeah.
Is by putting it all in one place, getting organized, having it all right there. You learn why it's the way it is. And this is going to make people better investors. Mm-hmm. That's what ends up happening. When you're organized, you can move faster.
Yeah. So many people want to do it themselves and try to save money. It's like, no, just understand a little bit about what the tax strategist is telling you, but just make sure you provide everything and have it all. And you need to know why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and all this in any business or in anything in life. And I think that we can get good at 3 or 4 categories, and then there's 1 or 2 other categories, and we're like, oh, I'll eventually get to that. You might as well just get it done, or it's going to come raging out of the closet one day on the worst possible day and then you're going to have to deal with it. Yeah. If there's one skill I could pick up, it would definitely be coding right now, so I could get this thing going a lot faster. But
yeah, unfortunately, ChatGPT is probably not going to work very well for that. It seems a little advanced.
People use it, but
they try.
It's not yeah.
That's so funny, dude. Rock and roll. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here. Make sure to add Casey, add me on Facebook if you're not friends with us yet. Let's get connected and make it an incredible rest of the week. It's Wacky Wednesday. We love you. Casey, give them some love. What do you got for them on the way out? What do they need to do to win big?
Man, don't worry about what other people think or say. Just do you.
That's important, folks. Don't use social media to compare yourself too much, because some of the shit you see ain't even real. We'll see you next time.